Thank you for staying with us. My guest is still the Majority Leader, Kyei Mensah Bonsu. Mr. Kyei Mensah Bonsu, so we are in unprecedented times, and Parliament just resumed coincidentally on the day when a big part of our economic survival, the decision on it revolves around today. If the Finance Minister closes the debt exchange program, the domestic debt exchange program today, he said he's confident that lays a path to an IMF Executive Board approval. Of course, barring what happens with the extent of that restructuring. I'm just curious, how is Parliament viewing what is happening?
Well, remember that during the recess, that platform
individual bondholders
of the individual bondholders came to us and to Parliament to present a petition, and they raised certain issues, among which really were the fact that some of them are pensioners and they are using the yields to pay for their medical expenses, some of them using it to cater for the education of their kids and so on, and so the many faults. And I also thought, as I spoke to it the other time, which some people perhaps didn't appreciate, that, see, it's taking quite a lot for us to come back to the culture of saving since the days of the early days and the heady days of the PNDC, when we had these problems with savers or depositors at the banks. So I was saying that we needed to maybe engage further, even if we had to come to that final decision. If people understand and buy into what you want to do, which in your considered opinion, you think will help salvage the cause of the country, it's important that we engage. So I spoke to it. And I also spoke to the fact that many of them, they belong to the middle class, and that, among other things, we should make sure that the middle class is not impoverished. Some people disagree with me and said, why was I talking only for the middle class people? If a petition comes to you from the middle class, you speak to them. Yeah. If it comes from any other person, you speak to them as well. But it was those of them who came to see me that I spoke to their concerns. But having said that, my prime concern at the time was, as they related, that there ought to have been some more consultation. And that is the point that I harped on. I understand, yesterday I was not available in Accra, but I understand whilst we are away that a petition was presented by them, the individual bondholders, the coalition of the individual bondholders, to the finance minister. And he made a bold statement that if we're not able to conclude the discussions with the IMF, the economy could possibly crash. That was a really biting statement, and could have several, that statement itself could have several repercussions. And so I'm only hoping that we'll be able to come to some amicable resolution of this. So I guess as a nation, we should come to the reality that is confronting us. How best do we salvage the cause of the Republic? That's how I'll end it. Okay.
Today, the Speaker of Parliament had instructed that Ken Ofori-Atta should necessarily appear before Parliament. It's almost like a summon to explain the domestic debt exchange. Is this something you're in favor of?
Well, to the extent that maybe he wants greater amplification to the populace at large through the representatives of the people, well, that could be a good call. Maybe it's a bit late in the day, and also attributable to the fact that Parliament was late in resuming. You know, we had earlier on intended to resume on the 24th of January, and later more or less rescheduled to 31st, and now 7th February. It's the first time in the history of this Fourth Republic that is the first meeting is beginning in a February date. Not the best. And I was saying today that that offers us just about 8 weeks of sitting, very short. Usually the first meeting is 10 weeks, 11 weeks. But this is a very short meeting because Good Friday is on the 7th of April. And the last Friday preceding the Good Friday is 31st March. So in all probability, perhaps we may adjourn on 31st March. That gives us only 8 weeks to handle all the issues that are on the table. So it's a bit late in the day, but let's see what we can salvage from it.